Hello everyone, and welcome to some MiSTer FPGA news. I'm currently traveling and visiting some family, so this week's episode will be short. Any topics I missed for the week, I will cover in next week's episode. So this week, I will be talking about progress for the N64 core, a Sega 32X update, an update to the PlayStation core, and some Jotego updates that includes future releases for some new cores. So let's get to it. Many people have been awaiting the PlayStation core to officially support the S-Video work done by Mike Simone. That time has come as the core has been updated to support the latest MiSTer framework. You no longer have to use unofficial builds to use S-Video or composite output. Along with that update, the core has received an SPU update that fixes envelope volume and tick readback for the main volume. In Wipeout 3, this update fixes stereo output. The Sega 32X can now load and save backup data from SRAM and FRAM. This is for games that save their data onto the carts. sRG320 also implemented many other fixes to the core. Super Smash Bros. Is now running on the software emulator that the Nintendo 64 FPGA core is going to be based on. On the post showing off the game, Robert, the developer, also tells us that only some more tweaks are needed until work on the FPGA core can begin. That's going to be a huge milestone for the core. On Patreon, Robert details what parts are still missing before FPGA work can begin. Another milestone already reached is that the current software emulator can fully pass MiSTer N64 system test. This is a homebrew ROM that contains thousands of system tests created by homebrew and emulator developers. It tests a wide range of Nintendo 64 features, from common ones to hardware quirks. On the Patreon post, Robert also goes over the technical details done on the TLB, PAL timing, and saved memory. It's a post with a lot of information that is worth a read. The next game Jotego is going to release for the core based on the Konami CPU is Aliens. Jotego said on Patreon a beta core should release this coming Friday, barring any unforeseen circumstances. Aliens is a game that's not easy to describe. Is it a side-scrolling shooter, a beat-em-up, a run-and-gun game? I guess it's a marriage of all those genres that has some on-rails shooter levels sprinkled in. It's a great game that's coming soon to MiSTer. A release date for the Neo Geo Pocket core has also been announced. Jotego feels we should see a beta core next month on June 2nd. The Neo Geo Pocket was a handheld game console released by SNK in late 1998. It was the company's first handheld system and is part of the Neo Geo family. But unlike the Neo Geo consoles, it was a lot more price conscious to compete directly with the Game Boy. The handheld featured cut-down versions of arcade Neo Geo titles that played really well. A color version of the handheld was later released to better compete with the Game Boy Color. Only 10 monochrome-only games were ever released. However, color Neo Geo Pocket games can play on the original handheld in monochrome mode. Remember, the Aliens and Neo Geo Pocket cores will initially be released as beta cores, and will only be available to Patreon subscribers during the beta phase. As soon as they leave beta, the cores will be available to the public. On Patreon, Jotego also mentions a lot of maintenance updates have been made to some current cores, including adding S-Video support to many games. So that's it for this episode. I provided links to all my sources in the description. Make sure you also check out RetroRGB.com to see my MiSTer news videos in blog form and to get more retro-related content. And if possible, support them on Patreon too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and its bell icon so you can get notified of future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.